So, we finally have the next big webtoon adaptation from Crunchyroll. It's alright. It's okay. It's alright. That's a little harsh, but, it's true. Everybody was hyping it up, and I was, really excited for it, and so many people are like, dude, you are going to love this! So I went in with admittedly high expectations, and I still think of, when I think of webtoon adaptation, I'm still thinking of how much I loved Tower of God, but after God of High School kind of disappointed me, and after this first episode of Noblesse, I shouldn't be putting too much expectations on these, I think. I think I'm going in with a little too high expectations, so for episode 2, I'll try and temper that, but yeah, this is okay. It's alright. It's not the worst thing ever. Anyway, hello everybody. Sorry to start that on a downer, but yeah, hi, my name is JoJo. I talk about seasonal anime content here on this channel, and I guess I'm going to be doing some other content soon because something tells me this is going to be a bit of a slow season. But yes, I talk about seasonal anime content. If that sounds fun to you, go ahead and hit that sub button and ring that bell to let all of AniTube know you are here. In fact, make sure you ring that bell because YouTube's been a little bit weird lately where if you don't ring the bell, it straight up just does not notify you about things now, so that's kind of not cool. So yeah, hit that sub button, ring that bell, let AniTube know you're here. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this first episode of Noblesse, or what is supposed to be the first episode of Noblesse. Now, I say supposed to be because it has episode 1 as its, like when you're looking at the title, it says episode 1, what must be protected / ordinary. And typically when I start a show and I see episode 1, I assume that's the first episode. That's not the case. Apparently, this is meant to be watched after an OVA from 4 years ago called Noblesse Awakening. I did not know that even existed. I legitimately did not know that existed. And 2016 was when I started this channel. So I'm most of the shows that came out between 2016 and now, I probably remember. I talked about a lot of stuff here on the channel. Mind you, most of those videos are now privated because they are embarrassing. But I would remember most of them. I have no recollection of this place. I do not, thank you Gandalf for the quote, I do not remember anything about Noblesse Awakening, nor was it ever brought to my attention that I should watch that. At all. I had no clue that was necessary. And from what I gather, because I follow them on Twitter, Crunchyroll also didn't make it known that, hey, this is a sequel, and you should probably watch the OVA first. And I do think that's a big negative against the episode. Nowhere is it stated that, hey, you should probably watch the OVA first. And if that was the case, since you own the property, it's on your site, and listen, I enjoy Crunchyroll. I do. I think a lot of their team is cool. I'm not crazy about how they treat their subtitle people, but that's beside the point. I like them, but this was a bad move in my opinion to not make this well known that, hey, you should watch Awakening first. And unless I'm mistaken, and I very well could be, I didn't see anywhere that you should have watched this OVA first. Nowhere was that well known. And if that was the case, why then when I type in Noblesse, do I see Noblesse and then Noblesse Awakening? But when I go to watch an episode of a show on Crunchyroll, I don't type it in to look for it. I just scroll down to newly released and I click on Noblesse. And if I click on Noblesse, it takes me to the show's page. And it just shows me episode 1. It doesn't show you Noblesse Awakening because it's not listed there. It's in a totally separate section. So I had no clue that there was anything else before Noblesse. It was only when I said on Twitter that, damn, I didn't really like that episode, that people pointed out, oh, dude, yeah, you were supposed to have apparently watched this OVA. And in fairness, those replies were also like, that was weird. They should have made that better known. And I assume even fans who did see the OVA must understand the confusion, because it's like, this was never stated in anything, any material that I know. I don't watch trailers. Maybe it was said in the trailer, like maybe the PV showed like, hey, it's a sequel to Awakening. I doubt it, because everybody seems hella confused. Everybody that I talk to is like, that was confusing as hell. Like it felt like I was missing something, because we were missing an entire OVA or ONA, whatever you want to call it. And like, listen, I normally wouldn't care, but two things. One, I scheduled the whole day on this channel specifically for Noblesse. So I'm a little bit like concerned that my main reaction from it was, it's all right. It's not what I want to be feeling. And B, I'm kind of let down because everybody was telling me, bro, this is going to be super great. Oh my gosh. Like, and it's just kind of mid. It's fine, but there's tons of other stuff. Like, the amount of people telling me to watch like that romance show that came out that I can't remember the name of, or like Talentless Nana. And I was like, no, Noblesse is where it's at. And now here I sit in front of a microphone in a closet because I have to get good noise reduction. So here I sit alone under a pile of clothes, thinking about the fact that I probably should have watched Talentless Nana. Although, it could be that this is just a bit of a shaky start. Maybe after I watch the OVA, because I will watch the OVA after I record this. Maybe after I watch the OVA, I will change my mind. However, this is not a review of the OVA. This is a review of the first episode and my initial thoughts. And I wanted to make sure that I recorded this before watching the OVA, because I need you to know that that shit is weird. And most people are not gonna know to watch the OVA. So this is probably gonna be their reaction. And as much as you might want to be upset about it, I do think you should respect the fact that this was not well documented, this was not made well known, and a lot of people are probably going to see this one episode and dismiss the show, and that's a damn shame. Because I do think that there's a lot to like here. There's a lot of potential. Now, when I heard about the show, I did tell people, like, this sounds boring. Because I was like, as soon as I saw school setting, I rolled my eyes. You have any idea how much anime I watch for the school setting? Like, that's nothing. That's like, you may as well tell me, like, it's animated. It's like, yeah, I'd expect that. That sounds boring. The fact that the school was, like, a big part of it. But a lot of people told me, like, trust us, it's good. You'll love it. And I have to assume that people said that I'll love it because there's, like, tons of husbandos on screen. And, like, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I do understand the reasoning there. But, yeah, the school setting I was very wary of, right? It's the best part. It is the best part. Like, you, the character, like, Yu-chan, you and M21 and their interactions at the school are the best part of the episode, and including Rizel. I keep wanting to call him Raziel, but Rizel, like, discovering smartphones was cute. Like, all the stuff that happens at the school is fun and neat, and I'm like, cool. If you focus more on that, I'm happy. All this other stuff, I don't care. I really could not possibly care less. And I thought that that's the stuff that I was going to care about. But it's like they attack an army base, I think, at one point. Like, there's something about, like, these two characters, Jake and Marie, and bioengineered humans. Frankenstein's involved somehow, and, like, there's, like, a military base at one point, and, like, a group of baddies, and it's who cares? Like I don't care. At all. Like, I was like, wait, you didn't establish any of this, so I thought, so I have no reason to care. Like, even when M21 is telling you, like, how he stumbled across these people, and again, it felt like, I feel like I'm missing an episode. I was. But it felt like, I have no reason to care about any of these characters. So, why even show them? And with M21, I felt that way at first. I was like, I have no reason to care about this dude. You're telling me his backstory, and I have no connection to him at all. So why do I care? But as the episode progressed, and we got more into the school stuff, I really started to care about M21. Like, legitimately care about the dude. I really love Yu. I think Yu is easily the saving grace of this entire thing. Like, you and what's his buddy's name? Like, starts with an M. The Megane guy, the Megane guy, the boy with the glasses. Like, him and you save the episode when the show has a literal Frankenstein, like Dr. Frankenstein character. They have Raziel, who everybody was like freaking out about, and I probably put him as the thumbnail because everybody loves this dude for some reason. And then you have like M21, and all those characters are cool and all, but the friggin' school characters who should bore me to tears were the ones who were interesting, and the characters who should have been interesting, I did not care about, like, at all. Like, Raziel, or I keep wanting to say Raziel. If you've played the Soul Reaver games, you'll know why. Raziel. But Raziel, or see what I mean? I keep saying ZL. Raziel, should have been really interesting. He's more like cute. You know what I mean? Like, when they introduce him, I'm sort of like, oh, he's cute, right? Like, he has a cool design. He's basically like your basic anime vampire boy. But he has a really cute, like, subplot where he bumps into you, and they clearly have a pre-established relationship, probably in the OVA. And he, like, signs the dude's cast. And it's like, oh, that's sweet. And they establish, like, oh, he had a memory wipe because actually he wasn't hit by a car. It was something that happened that involved M21, Raziel, and Franken. So it's like, oh, okay, so, like, it's, again, events that happened before the show, maybe? No, events that happened in an OVA that we weren't told about. But yeah, like, the Raziel, like, hanging out with you and, is it Manabu? Is that his name? I can't remember. The glasses kid, the Megane boy. Like, him hanging out with them is fun because it's him trying to understand what modern society is like, and he doesn't know what a smartphone is because, like, why would he? He was asleep for, like, several centuries, I believe. So, like, why the hell would he know what the smartphone is? So he's sort of baffled by all this technology and, like, the way that characters interact with each other and stuff like that. It's beyond him, and it's cute to sort of see him try to understand society. And, like, you see him, like, draw, like, a cat on Yu's cast, which is really cute. And another time you see him, like, when he sends, like, an email to Franken, he has, like, a little emoji, like he, like, types out an emoji, and it's like, that's really cute. Or, like, I don't know what you call it, where you, like, you type it out instead of, like, just putting an emoji. Like, you can see, like, he's trying to understand, and you see this sort of, like, fun side to Raziel, which, again, is why I'm saying that episode 2 could surprise me. I do think that there's a lot of potential. I think Raziel's really fun. Franken being, like, really doting on Raziel is really cute. But that's about it. Like, those two characters, that's all they gave me. And I'm like, aren't you two, like, the main characters? Like, this dude's face is on the cover of the poster. Like, shouldn't they be the focus and not M21? Like, who is M21? Like, some sort of bioengineered dude, I guess. But another thing I should say, though, again, as I said, that M21's personal journey actually ended up kind of winning me over, and I cared about him by the end. It's the idea that he's, like, this, I guess, runaway, and he ends up, like, with Franken and Raziel, and he's trying to hide, but you see him slowly start to kind of take an interest in the school when he meets, like, the janitor and you and Megane Boy and some of the other students, and they're really impressed by him. And they do that thing where, like, all the girls in the school are, like, head over heels for all the main boy characters, and it's like, oh my god. But, like, yeah, they're, like, interested in him. And I'm just gonna call him 21. I'm just gonna call him 21. M21 is kind of redundant. So 21 basically is, you know, he's, like, trying to understand how like not understand how the school works, but trying to understand his place within the school. And you could see him slowly kind of getting to know these characters, especially the janitor. Like, him and the janitor really hit it off. And by the time people attack the school, and we'll get into that in a sec, but this like gang attacks the school, and he feels reluctant to get involved because he doesn't want to. He's supposed to be laying low. He's being chased after by people who are trying to kill him, so he's trying to lay low. But ultimately, he makes himself known by defending the students and defending the janitor, essentially defending the school, his new home. He makes himself known and puts himself at risk because he has grown to care. And I think that's really good. I think that everything with 21 was really good. I think that's a great setup for a character that has a lot of room to grow. He has a weird power where he can like grow his fingernails, which is kind of neat. He's like Lady Deathstrike, I guess. But yeah, there's room to grow. It's not the greatest character development for a first episode I've seen, but again, I guess I'm missing context. But yeah, like there's room for 21 to grow, but as I said, the saving grace of the episode is you. Everything with you is great. Like literally everything with the character is fantastic. From the character design to what he's doing in the episode and like how I can almost see a spin-off about just him because he's that entertaining. Like everything about that character is great. Like I almost wished the show was just about him and every other character was just a side character. Like with their like they have their own things going on, but it's not as important. I could see him being like the main character of a rival schools-esque kind of story, where he's like this kind of delinquent but kind of not kind of dude who gets like into fights every so often, and he kind of gets involved in stuff that he doesn't mean to, like girls follow like head over heels for him, maybe even some dudes. And you just have like this character who keeps bumbling into these situations and has to like fight his way out, but he has a good time doing it. He makes friends along the way. It just seems like it'd be way more entertaining than what we got. And again, as I said, his character design is perfect. In fact, let's talk a bit about the character design. Yu has this sort of like medium reddish orange hair, which definitely represents the courageous and optimistic side of the character. Fusing red and orange, you do get sort of this like outspoken, quirky but energetic and happy type of dude. Like red meaning courageous, orange typically meaning optimistic. You combine the two together, you basically get Yu in a nutshell. And then you get the dark blue eyes of the character as well, sort of showing off a confidence and security within the character. And when the eyes are meant to be the window to the soul, when you have dark blue eyes, it usually denotes a sort of confidence in oneself. We also see the character have this sort of like bandage over his nose. And that's, again, just another telltale sign, a solid character design, just a telltale sign to show you that the character is a bit of a brawler. You know, like he has gotten into fights in the past. We even see him with like the sling. He has like the broken arm, but they do establish like why he's in that. But even still, like when you see him immediately, you get the sense that he's a bit of a brawler. He's a bit of a fighter. And again, that does track. The character is relatively strong. We see him fighting back with like one arm against a dude twice his size, and he does manage to land some pretty decent hits. He's mostly avoiding them because he can't really fight with one arm, but he does actually try. Yu, just as a character design, is legitimately really solid, and even going beyond just the design, the character himself, to me, holds the entire show up. I wanted to make him the thumbnail, but I felt like nobody would even know what the hell I'm talking about. So I had to put Ryzel as the thumbnail. Although again, Ryzel's cute, but like needs some more time in the oven. Even 21 has a pretty solid design. The silver hair definitely meant to indicate a sophisticated and mature nature, which you again does track. Silver like definitely has that vibe of like sophisticated and more so mature, and you kind of get that with the character. There is a maturity to 21. He feels a little bit older than even characters like Ryzel, who is acting sort of distant and almost childish with some of like the smartphone shenanigans. And then you have like the gray eyes. And gray eyes, again, if eyes are the window to the soul, what does gray eyes tell you? It's a sort of like indecisiveness to a character, right? Like there's something about it, like they're feeling hazy. Like gray-eyed characters are usually like hazy. They're not really sure, like they're not unemotional, but they're not really sure where they're going, what they're doing. And that does track. 21 is a character who is sort of hazy, unsure of himself, not really sure what's next, not really sure what he should be doing, what he shouldn't be doing. He's just trying to figure himself out, but it's not in a like emotional way. It's like reserved. It's an inner debate with oneself, and he's not immature about it. He is very mature. It's just questions that he's dealing with on the inside. And I think that, again, the character design's great. Even the scar down the side of the mouth. Much like the bandage over Yu's nose, it shows you that this person has been in scraps before, but clearly much more serious fights than a character like Yu. Like, it actually left him with a scar going down the right side of his mouth. 21 and Yu do have my favorite designs, but I do think for the most part the designs are pretty solid. And I'd argue it might be the strongest point of the episode. I do think there's a lot of potential here. As I said, I'll be back for episode 2, but I am concerned. This does me a concern. The new catchphrase. This does me a concern. We'll see how things go, though. We'll see how things go. But with that said, that is basically going to be all my thoughts on the premiere of Noblesse. Although, again, I guess it's not technically a premiere. With that said, everybody, if you somehow managed to enjoy today's video, don't forget to boop that up snoot and share if you care. And of course, as always, I have to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names. And hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are now 2 ways to do so. The first is by checking out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, and the second option is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button to get yourself a badge next to your name, some emotes to use in the comments and premiere chats, and of course your name at the end of these videos. And if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and hit that join button or check out that Patreon link in the description. Either way, it is super appreciated. But on that note, everybody, I guess I'll go watch that OVA now. Yep, I guess I'll go do that. But until next time, you stay classy, AnyTube, and you wash your dang hands.